J-Dog, easy play, anytime, stop, nada, much. Slayer Boxer, C, Bisu, sAviOr, 16 of the most powerful StarCraft gamers in the world. LG, Intel Centrino, GOM TV, Star Invitational.
Welcome back. It's been an awesome tournament so far. Unbelievable. We've had yet another incredible game. All these games have been just top class. These are the best players in the world, the best players of all time. Group A, the GOM TV Star Invitational. Oh man, I just got to talk about that last game for a little bit. It turned out to be a bit of a macro game at the start. sAviOr going for hatchery, third hatchery, before Mutalisks. Excuse me, before spawning pool. And at the same time, we had Mind. He went for a very, very fast command center. As the game began to unfold, sAviOr went for Mutalisks with a few lurkers, did a lot of Mutalisk harassment. Mind tried to head out and start a push of some sort, but it just looked like sAviOr's Mutalisk control was so good, he managed to pick off an unbelievable amount of Medic Marine, to the point where Mind's army was basically trapped in the middle of the map. He did not have a lot of options. He had his army whittled down to just a few units. And by then, sAviOr had morphed Guardians, trapped that middle army, forced them out, and then proceeded to go into the main and just start pounding him. Mind attempted to expand elsewhere, but it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. So sAviOr just had too much control over that part of the map. And, wow, props to sAviOr. sAviOr pretty much beat Flash until he screwed it up and lost. But he's really proven that his Zerg versus Terran is a force to be reckoned with. sAviOr, of course, one of the most well-known players in the world, one of the most respected individuals out there, because, back in about 2006, he was just, everybody basically concluded that he was probably the strongest player alive and that he was going to stay like that. He's in a slump now, but who knows? We'll see if he can get out of his group. Right now, we have sAviOr versus AnyTime coming up next. And there they both are. And on this, let me check here real fast. sAviOr versus AnyTime. It's gonna be a cool. This is gonna be a cool game. Yeah, let me pull up their stats here. I have so many papers with so many different stats. All right, AnyTime versus Zerg, 35 and 25, 58.3% win ratio. On the map that we're playing, it's 3 and 2. He's 3 and 2. That's his all-time record. The map's in Korean, and I'm worried I might butcher the name if I say it. I think it's pronounced BaekmaGoji, but I apologize. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. I have it in front of me phonetically, but it looks a little funny. The other, let me see here. Let's take a look at the other thing. Hold on just one moment, please. I'm pulling up sAviOr's stats now. And it looks like his overall record against Terran, like I said before, was 63 and 43, 51% win ratio. Welcome back. sAviOr versus AnyTime. Protoss versus Zerg. On what, in my opinion, is one of the weirdest and most interesting StarCraft maps ever made. Well, one thing about this map is that there are 2 gas geysers. Right at the start. Which means you can go for some of your very strong tech builds very early on. There's also double the amount of minerals that there are at a normal expansion. So this can mean a lot of different things. I mean, first of all, it means that you don't necessarily need to expand very early on. You have twice the amount of minerals you need, twice the amount of gas. So you can do a lot of interesting things with that. What exactly will they do? I won't attempt to guess because I wonder if I'll just be supplying incorrect information. This is one of those maps that only the best can really play on, and there's so many different things you can do with it. Especially when you have just 2 gas geysers right off the bat. You don't have to waste any money on an extra Nexus. Zerg, on the other hand, they always have to get extra hatcheries simply because that's the way they produce. If they don't have enough hatcheries, they just fall behind. However, their neutral creep colonies, as you can see, the creep right outside there, that's not sAviOr's creep. He's not that good. He hasn't expanded there yet. But what you can do is, well, there are these neutral creep colonies, which means Zerg can build on those. But on the other hand, Protoss and Terran can't. They have to kill those neutral creep colonies. So, does that mean this map favors Zerg? No, not necessarily. It just means that players have to respond accordingly. So he puts his hatchery there. Zerg can put the hatchery there, but it only has 3 mineral patches, so it's not a huge deal. Terran, on the other hand, and Protoss really don't get to utilize those few mineral patches. I've seen many of them don't even bother to get it just because it's not worth, for instance, building a Nexus there. Spawning pool. Hatchery first, then spawning pool. I also saw a gateway early on for AnyTime, and a gas geyser, and a simulator being made. He's using that probe to do a little bit of harassment, trying to pull those drones off of the mineral patches. Just because every second counts, and players like this are so good that they know that, even the smallest little delay in their opponent's economy can help them out in the long run, especially when you have players that never miss overlords, they never miss pylons, they never miss a beat. First zealot moving out. This is also a one-on-one map, mind you. So in other words, they know each other's starting locations. A lot of times you can see some wild cheese builds on this map. Not always though. Drone has pushed the probe out. Second zealot now moving out. It looks like he sent that first zealot out, kind of feinting an attack, perhaps in an attempt to force his opponent to make more Zerglings rather than drones early on, then withdraw and turn the game into an econ game, get ahead that way. I was told I can't put my hand over the top of my head anymore while I'm casting. I didn't realize sometimes the Korean cameras are going on me, and it looks like I'm sitting there with a migraine, when in fact I'm just very focused on this game. Starport being made. This is very popular nowadays. It was always popular, but it's become even more so popular since the dawn of Bisu. Players like to get a Corsair out early because it can kind of act like a fast overlord. You can zip around and scout and pick up any stray overlords that happen to be within the area. That and the fact that, well, it really depends on how many Corsairs you're getting, but you can also use them to maintain map control with a combination of Corsairs and DTs. With the DTs there, you can force Zerg to expand, to only expand in places that are very close by to them. Okay, Zergling snuck by. One Zergling inside. We'll see the starport. That will give sAviOr a few seconds to respond ahead of time. One thing about Protoss versus Zerg is that Zerg spends a lot of time. Zerg spends a lot of time trying to figure out exactly what Protoss is doing, because Protoss has an array of options they can do. They can go with Corsairs early, they can 2-gate rush, they can 1-gate and get a Citadel, and get early Templar Archives, or they can, 1-gate and then get early Citadel, and then get a couple more gateways to get Zone Link. There's lots of different things that they can do. So scouting becomes crucial. And at the same time, you don't want to lose your overlords, because you know that Protoss can get Corsairs out as AnyTime is. Second gateway, and a Templar, it's a Templar Archives. Interesting. Very standard. Perhaps Corsair Dark Templar harassment to force his opponent to not get that expo at the north. Alright, Corsair now attacking this overlord. Not microing it quite as well as he could have. He could have moved it a little bit closer so that Corsair wouldn't have to drag itself behind like that. But that's okay, because he's really just using it to scout. We haven't seen a second Corsair yet. He has at least pushed that overlord back a little bit. Sending the zealots out now. Again, forcing his opponent to make a few more Hydralisk Zerglings than Zerg would have wanted to. And, why does that matter? Because Zerg make everything from the larva. So it's not like you can keep making workers and attacking units. And if you can force the opponent to make more attacking units rather than workers early on, and then not really let them utilize that, it can help you get ahead. Next is soon. Using that Corsair, he knows there are no overlords over that position. So he pulls back, probably to cover an upcoming nexus that will be built there. Yeah, it just was. And he'll have DTs there, so that, like that one right there, so that he can cover the expansion. 2 Zerglings once again going to sneak inside. 1 down. He's still using that Corsair to scout around the map. sAviOr's getting Mutalisks. Not a bad idea. His opponent stopped getting a lot of Corsairs. And we've all seen what sAviOr can do with Mutalisks. He's looking to see, will all of these larvae morph into Mutalisks? And he'll be able to tell that by when the Spire finishes, if all the larvae immediately switch. By the way, how does a larva turn into an egg? Like, how does that happen? Alright, whatever, never mind. But still, more importantly, onto the game. Alright. DT getting pushed back. He's going to use that Dark Templar to keep his opponent contained. He doesn't want him to let him get that top expansion. But sAviOr's responded very well by getting a lot of Mutalisks. I did once see a game where sAviOr faked out Nal Ra, made it look like he was getting Mutalisks by making nothing but, morphing all of his eggs right when the Spire hatched, and then it was nothing but Hydralisk with speed, and he upgraded Overlord speed, and unfortunately for Nal Ra, he made nothing but cannons in the back of his base to defend from the Mutalisks. sAviOr rushed in and killed him. He's going to try to get this drone. He gets it and retreats! Or not. He gets it and commits suicide. Here comes the Mutalisks now. And he is making cannons. And now morphing into an Archon. Perhaps he forgot to get Storm. Perhaps he just made the Archon later than he expected. Now he has to have cannons in many different places. And he also does not want to lose the Corsair. Probes getting taken out. He's taken out almost all the probes of that expansion. sAviOr, with those agile Mutalisks, zipping around, picked off the Corsair, and is now setting up that expansion. That expansion will be a little bit later than sAviOr would have liked, since he did lose that first drone. He's actually setting up a second expansion at the top of the map, too, if you can see on the minimap. More gateways. More of the Protoss. sAviOr is really gutsy with these Mutalisks. A few Archon hits and you can lose almost all your Mutalisks, yet he's just dashing around with them, attacking the Dragoons to get their hit points a little bit lower. Lurker's now morphine. He'll be using that for the static defense at his expansions. He could go for some type of contain, but this really isn't a contain map because there's 2 exits. Flying in here now and taking out a lot of probes. Unbelievable. I was drinking water right when they came and I practically choked when I saw it happen. He's going to try to pick off that Templar. Very gutsy. Doesn't look like he has Storm either. 2 Templars taken out. You really need Templars against Zerg. And they cost a lot of gas, so losing them like that is very bad. Very, very bad for the Protoss. Dark Templar was going to go in there and harass some drones, but there are no drones. Yes, there are. There's a few. Getting a few here and there. And he served his purpose. Let's see here. Lurkers now moving up for some sort of defense. We see more and more Zerg units starting to move around the map. 2 Lurkers there containing his opponent. More Lurkers moving down at the north. He's got some Mutalisk harassment going on this end. He may send those Lurkers in there. He doesn't have... I don't see where the Robo is yet. He's doing some more gateway harassment in this area. Protoss moving out at the top. Encountering Lurkers and Zerglings if he burrows them in time. But Storm can do a lot of damage. He doesn't have an Observer there, but he does have Psy Storm that will damage burrowed units, obviously. More Mutalisks attacking the Dragoons inside of AnyTime's base. AnyTime microing very well, though. If he can soften up those Dragoons, it'll really hurt at the moment when AnyTime decides to push. He'll have all these weak Dragoons that won't be able to do as much damage. AnyTime's attempting to build up the ideal unit mix to fight off a Zerg, which involves almost every single unit Protoss can get that's related to the ground. But by doing that, he has to complete his entire tech tree and then hold off harassment. And not lose Templars! Okay, he did lose Templars. Good job. Oh, wait. Man, he's trying really, really hard to take out these Templars, but he's losing so many Mutalisks in the process! Major blunder by sAviOr. Losing all of those Mutalisks. Storming, but missing the Lurkers. Lurkers are now back out. sAviOr has to keep those Lurkers alive so he can defend when AnyTime actually pushes into the expansion. There are these neutral buildings in the middle of the map. By killing them off, he'll have more access to different areas of the map. And AnyTime was doing that simply because he knows he cannot engage sAviOr at his base. sAviOr's static defense, in combination with Lurkers and other units, will just be too much. He wants to make sure that his opponent doesn't get any more expansions. Uh-oh. But it looks like he may be coming up from behind with a lot of Lurkers and Zerglings, possibly for a trap. Flying in now are the Scorch to take out the Observer. He did not get both of them, though. Had he gotten both of those Observers, and rather than miss microing, well, he would have taken out a lot of Protoss units since there would have been no way for them to see, and he might have not had enough storms to do so, or to take them out in effect. Also, interestingly, Zerg Hive now coming up. He can't engage him there either. At this point in time, sAviOr definitely has a strong defense. More hatcheries going up, which means more units. sAviOr's in a very, very strong position right now. AnyTime parked outside of his base, hoping to maybe make some more sunken colonies, but there's no way AnyTime can engage that right now. More Zerglings now going down to the south. AnyTime will be expanding soon enough. I also see Forge is upgrading. He's now decided he can push in with that +1 attack. Storming the Zerglings. And my god, I think he might be able to break in. It's unclear though. We can't see too much of the Zerg base right now. He's returning with those Zerglings. There's hardly any more Zealots in the army anymore, which means it's going to be nothing but the Archons and the Dragoons taking the brunt of the damage. I don't know how many storms he has, but he might have enough to hold up anything the Zerg might throw at him. Zerg is coming up from behind with a few more Lurkers. He needs to save his expansion. I don't think he's going to be able to do it, though. This is not good for sAviOr. sAviOr may very well lose this game. He does not have enough units to take this out. The positioning of the Archons and the Dragoons are just too good. But he may not be able to escape. He's got enough Zerglings. It looks like they have the adrenaline upgrade because they're attacking quite fast. And they're going to take out this Archon. AnyTime's attempting to resupply his units so he can pull back whatever else he might have. sAviOr hid those drones. Nice move by sAviOr so that he could at least have something to salvage from that attack. He can use those drones at his other expansion. But AnyTime is getting yet another expansion right now. And that's going to be very, very difficult for the Zerg to deal with. You never want to let the Protoss get more expansions than you in Protoss versus Zerg. It's just not good. Zerg are the race that needs to be taking the map the fastest. AnyTime's moving his army down to the south. He knows he has to defend that expansion from any possible counterattack. And guess what? sAviOr was about to do that. Although he spotted it with the Overlord, he's probably going to turn around. He can't afford to lose too many more units. He really can't afford to lose any more units. Defiler mount for the Zerg. Dark Swarm and Plague are very strong against Protoss, just like they are against Terran. We've already seen that he's excellent at using Plague and Dark Swarm. Robo-Bay. 2 Robo-Bays now in the game. That means he's going to be getting Reavers. And look at that. These observers are going to get in there. He's going to take out the lurker. But it may have been good enough to draw him away because he's going to try to take out this Nexus now with that distraction. But no, he only managed to get the cannons. AnyTime's response is fast. Very good players we're watching here. In case you didn't already figure that out. Since it's like a 16-person worldwide invitation. Yeah, he is going to be getting Reavers. That's going to make it very difficult if he attempts to use Ultralisks. I'm talking about sAviOr, of course. Templar, Zealots, Dragoons, and Archons. Coming up. Looks like he's going to be able to take this out too. sAviOr's attempting to get some type of tactical position, but AnyTime's response is so fast that he just keeps spoiling it before it even starts. Now AnyTime has decided to attack yet again before that expansion finishes. He's going to try to come in here. Dark Swarming over those lurkers. Not good for the Protoss. Makes it much harder to take them out. Even Archons miss sometimes under Dark Swarm. Wow! Alright. AnyTime may have been pushed out. He's going to use a few blanket storms to try to take out whatever's over there. Templars do the little dance and then become Archons. He's consuming more Zerglings, getting ready for a Plague perhaps, or a Dark Swarm. He's coming in with a Zergling surrounding one Archon. Those are the backbone of the Protoss army. He doesn't want to lose too many of those. Once again, moving in with the observers. He's got Scorch. He's going to try to take him out, push him back. But no! They're so slow! Wow. Plague on the Protoss army. AnyTime's in bad shape, but he does have Reavers on the way. sAviOr has to get this expansion up. He cannot afford to lose this expansion. It could be game if AnyTime breaks through and takes it out. Using, once again, more Dark Swarms, making it very dangerous for the Protoss to enter those areas. What was that Scarab doing? More Dark Swarms going down. Plague on an Archon, not the most useful unit to Plague, since it only has 10 hit points. But I think AnyTime is breaking through! And this is so bad for the Zerg! He's throwing lurkers! But the Dark Swarms have already gone away! And this is very bad news for the Zerg. I think he managed to pull through, but he does have a reasonable amount of Zerglings! Actually, wow, sAviOr, nope, he didn't. He managed to lose the expansion. I thought there were less Protoss units for a second, but I was wrong. He's now going to pull out. He probably doesn't have to do any more damage. Or wait for the Reavers. With those Reavers, you can very slowly push in, which is good. Plaguing them once again. This is bad news for the Protoss. But what's more important is that sAviOr doesn't have his expansion. Zergling's coming down right now, trying to take out these Reavers. He'll do anything in his power to pick off the Reavers. He can't afford to lose the Reavers. Dark Swarming once again on the lurkers. Whoa! Alright, more and more attacks. Protoss is just massing up a large army in the south. I see it moving on the mini-map, heading towards this to reinforce this. AnyTime has decided it's time to slowly move in for the kill. And while sAviOr may be picking off these Reavers, he's losing a lot of Zerglings in the process. And keep in mind, AnyTime has a large army there anyways. He may try to break through now. There's no more lurkers. Oh, there's one more. Oh, but he stormed his own observers! That's going to hurt him. That's going to slow him down a lot. A clumsy move by AnyTime. If sAviOr can get out at least even one lurker, it's going to prevent AnyTime from getting inside of his base. But he doesn't seem to have any lurkers. Another storm going down. AnyTime's decided to move in. This would be the killing blow. sAviOr will not be in the game for much longer. If AnyTime manages to take this out, and he did. Wow. sAviOr is 1-2 in the group. AnyTime is 1-2 in the group. The two Terrans are the ones on top. Wow. Very, very impressive game. Oh man, this has just turned out to be unbelievable.